Greetings, one and all. Welcome to the Odd Man Rush 17/18 Elite Ice Hockey League Pre-Playoff Podcast. Yes, today is, what's the date? Monday the 26th of March. Yeah, the Elite League season finished yesterday. So, it's me today. Hello, how is everyone? I'm going to be bringing in a friend today. You probably know him from the last stream, if any of you saw it. Let's get him up, shall we? Let's bring him in. Mr. Chris Gadsby. All hearing the sound. Come on, my boy Chris. Get your ass in here, boy. Oh, we'll wait till he's in, and then I'll throw that up. Come on, Chris. I'm waiting for ya. So, yeah. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? I'll make sure I say a big hello to everybody before we start. I'll explain what's happening in a minute. Chris and I will explain what's happening to you, and then we will we'll get this going. It'll be fun. Yeah, podcast. We did one of these a couple of weeks ago, and it seemed to go relatively all right. Chris, where you at, boy? Oh, I call him and he doesn't even answer. There's no professionalism here, folks. Here we go. Here he is.
Oh, hello.
You decided to turn up, did ya?
It didn't make the connection first time, and then it just went. And then it just went. Oh, we called you, and it lasted 0 seconds. I was like,
Are you showing video? Oh wait. No, that's an ad. I don't need an ad. Oh my god, where you at?
Hang on. Is that helping? Oh, there we go.
Wait, you hit? Oh, hey, there he is. There's
somewhere.
The main man himself. There's Mr. Chris Gadsby. So, yeah, hello folks, it's me and Chris, and we're going to talk some Elite League playoffs.
Hello.
Because next week is the quarterfinals of the Elite League.
Well, some of it's this week, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but next weekend is the Elite League. So, the way that I think we should do this, I love the fact that we've got some questions coming in already. What we're going to do is, I think what we should do, and I'd like your opinion on this, Chris. I think we should just talk. So I'll run through how the Elite League standings ended, and then if we just take each series as we go and have a little chat about them.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Perfect. So, hello everybody. Wow, there's a lot of people here tonight. Nice to see you all. Stick around. Put your comments in the chat below. We'll be sure to get to them. So, in terms of the Elite League, all of the games finished up yesterday. And in terms of the standings, first place, of course, was Cardiff with 85 points. Second was Manchester with 75 points. Third was Sheffield with 71 points. Fourth was Nottingham with 71 points, but they had less wins. They had more shootout losses than Sheffield.
Yeah,
so they
it
had
was one less regulation win.
Yeah. Fifth was Belfast with 70 points. Sixth was Guildford with 69 points. 69. Seventh was Fife.
How old are you?
Shut up. Seventh were Fife with 68. Eighth were Coventry with 55. So Coventry took the final playoff spot this year, because of course this year it's the first 8 out of 12 that make the playoffs. Then the teams that didn't make the playoffs. The Brayhead Clan 1 point back with 54 points. The Dundee Stars with 48 points. The Milton Keynes Lightning with 42 points. And the Edinburgh Capitals, of course, way down in the bottom. The placement holder for last place with 11 points.
Isn't it time they just called it a day?
Well, we have some news to talk about later on compared to them, or regarding them, which
seems
quite positive. It seems quite positive. I'll bring up the exact article so I can read from it later on. But so Chris, in terms of the Elite League final table, the 1 to 12, what are your thoughts?
Well, Cardiff, we could tell we're going to win the league about 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Manchester have done really well to take that second spot. Panthers resurrected their season in the last few weeks.
Yeah, they kind of needed that, didn't they? Considering
they really did, because they were down in 7th. And Fife won their conference, but take the 7th spot, just proving that the standings are ridiculous.
Fife played really well up until the final few weeks of the season. and then they dropped the ball. And yesterday was the situation where Fife had already played all of their games, so they were sitting waiting to see what had happened. Because they were up in third until, I think, this weekend.
Yeah, it was... And then, Panthers took 6 from 6. And
Yep. Just to give you a bit of scope, 3rd to 7th, the difference was 3 points.
Yeah.
That's quite shocking. Made it exciting towards the end.
It did. It really did, yeah.
It was a bit unexpected. So, the way that the playoffs now work, ever since we got the new expansion, Milton Keynes and Guildford teams in the league, it's pretty much the same, I believe, isn't it? So we have, in terms of the playoffs, do you want to go? You go for it. You say what it is.
Well, it's simple. It's top 8 and first play 8 and second place 7th and third place 6th and fourth place 5th. And the top 4 teams get to choose if they want the home leg first or second. Yeah,
so for those of you who don't really know the Elite League very much, which I know might be some of you viewers who are more NHL fans, the Elite League, the British Elite League, does the quarterfinals. They don't do the semi-finals like this, do they? It's just a one and done, isn't it, for the semi-finals?
The semi-finals and the final are all on finals weekend in Nottingham on the 7th and the 8th.
Yeah. So the quarterfinals are done via a 2-game aggregate series. So it's essentially, you play 2 games, whoever scores the most goals at the end of those 2 games goes through to the next round. So
simple.
I think it's interesting. It makes it slightly different compared to some of the other leagues. So
yeah, I still think it should have been rearranged for the conference winners to take 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, or just get rid of the conferences altogether.
Or that too, but they've done that to try and cut down on travelling and fan travelling and get more money. And it seemed, the attendances have gone over 1 million, haven't they? So
yeah, that's something we're going to go into more detail about later. Yeah, first time.
So EA, listen up and put us in the game.
Yes, or I'll fight you, every single one of you.
And he'll win as well.
Yeah. So, based on the final rankings of each of the teams in the league, so Braehead, Dundee, Milton Keynes, and Edinburgh all haven't made the playoffs. They're done for this year. We'll see them back in, well, hopefully all of them. Maybe not Edinburgh. We'll see them all back in like September, October time. So that means that we have the Cardiff Devils playing the Coventry Blaze in the quarterfinal. We have the Manchester Storm playing the Fife Flyers in the conference final, or the quarterfinal. We have Sheffield playing Guildford, and we have Nottingham playing Belfast. So, sorry, you were going to
I was just going to reply to some chat comments. Jacob Freeman, are away goals a thing? No, they're not. It is just straight 1 goal is 1 goal.
So for example, like if there's if they're tied in goals after the 2 games, it will go to overtime.
Yeah.
To see who will score the next goal. Which is what happened last year with the Panthers and the Steelers, which I watched. Yeah, Steelers injuring a goalie's a great idea, isn't it?
And Morgan, the Devils and Nottingham are in because of the... Yeah, they are this year because of the CHL, but we want the entire Elite League, all 12, in like NHL 19.
The Devils are making it back next season into NHL 19 because of the Champions
Presumably
Hockey League.
They're putting the CHL back in there again.
Yeah, they said the Champions Hockey League's going back in.
Did they? I didn't see that definite.
I think it was on the article that you sent me.
Oh, was it? Okay.
They said, obviously, like, Cardiff have won the league, and that's given them their right to go back to the Champions Hockey League. And because Sheffield didn't win the Continental Cup, here we go, Continental Cup. It's there for you. It's a little bit dusty.
Oh, yeah.
Got my nice little baking tray.
Apparently the Steelers struck again last night because Levi Nelson slew-fluttered Clemente. I didn't see that.
Right, anyway. The first one, do you want to go from, like, the middle of the pack outwards, or should we just go first series, Cardiff Fife, or Cardiff
let's go Cardiff Coventry,
Okay, Cardiff and Coventry.
Let's start at the top and work our way down, because in theory, the better matchups are the ones closer to the middle.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Also, I will add... so we're going to talk about the Cardiff Coventry series. If you've got any comments you want to make about the Cardiff Coventry series, we'll have a little chat about it, then we'll talk about your comments. Are we going to finals weekend? Probably not. I did enter the Predict-A-Bet playoff competition, see if I could win some tickets, but probably not. I am hoping to go to the Nottingham game on Sunday, though. I'm starting to get some
I'm going to watch the finals on BBC Sport again. They've announced that.
Yes,
you should send me that link. So I'm going to watch that, and we might react to that after that game as well.
Definitely. So, Cardiff and Coventry. What you thinking, Chris?
Devils are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, in the short answer, like straight to the point, yeah. I mean, Coventry have struggled all year. They had a record of... They didn't even go above 500 this year. They had a record of 25 wins, 26 losses, 4 overtime losses, and 1 shootout loss.
Yeah, .491.
Yeah, that's not very good for a team that's made the playoffs.
If you consider that there's a 30-point difference between the two sides, that's 15. That's 15 games, which is almost a quarter of the season difference.
Yep. I would not be surprised if the Cardiff Devils went through. I would be absolutely shocked if the Coventry Blaze managed to make it through.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I think the Cardiff Devils, of course, they've won the league 2 straight years. They won the Challenge Cup last year. They've been top of the league for the last 2 seasons, basically. Although we can get into like our predictions for the later rounds later on if you want. But
yeah, we could do it. We could do an entire bracket.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? But yeah, I don't think Cardiff are going to win it because they've never won it before.
No, well, Max Springer says the Devils will win comprehensively. Coventry look really flat this year. Hope for their fans' sake Danny Stewart leaves in the summer.
Oh, you think Coventry looks flat this year? Try being a Nottingham fan. Jesus Christ. They almost lost to Edinburgh last night, folks. They were 2-0 down, for goodness sake. Oh, I read that and I was like, what is going on with life?
Yeah, that was one of those things where I was contemplating trading in my Panthers jersey and getting one of the Lions ones.
So yeah, I think we're both agreed that Cardiff are going to take this series. Guys, who do you think in the chat? Let us know. I mean, there isn't really much we need to say, is there? Like, Coventry, I think it will be a competitive game, but I think at the end of the day, Cardiff will win.
Yeah, Cardiff will go through. I don't think there's really much left to say about it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The Manchester Storm against the Fife Flyers. What are you thinking, Chris?
I think that one could be really close and really good fun to watch.
Really?
Yeah, I think it because Fife are one of those teams that you never know what they can do.
I think they're a bit of a dark horse team, I've got to admit. Fife are one of those teams that it's like they sneak under the radar for quite a lot of the time. Like, for example, for most of the season, they were sitting in about 3rd. Like, until this last weekend, they were sitting in 3rd place where Sheffield are right now. And they're sitting there having a good time, enjoying it. They went 33-21, 1-1 this season for a .607 win percentage. So they're way above 500. So I think, yeah, the only thing I'm thinking is, taking a look at the Elite League scoring leaders, 4 out of the top 10 play for Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a lot of firepower. And just to give you a bit of... Mike Hammond was number 1 for Manchester with 83 points this season. Matt Becker with 75 points. Dane Byers with 70. And Luke Moffat with 66. So they've got four guys there that are well over a point per game this season.
Yeah, well, if we look at the... between the two sides, you've got Manchester 3-2 in October... And then you've got Fife 6-2 in January.
Yeah.
And should be 4. There we go. Manchester 5-2 in March. And then Manchester 3-2 in March. So it's 3-1 to the Storm.
Yeah.
But the Fires did beat them 6-2. So if they put in a good performance at home, then the 3-2 victories that Manchester have got against them at their place would obviously not matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with you in the sense that I think this this series is probably going to be one of the more interesting ones. I would say this is probably going to be the second most interesting one.
I would say so, yeah.
And you probably know my first already, or those that know my Elite League knowledge know which one I think is the best, purely for the rankings in these two teams. We'll get to them later.
Is it going to be the Panthers Giants by any chance?
Oh, I don't know. So Manchester Fife. Are you going to go Manchester?
No, I'm going to go Fife. Let's make it interesting.
You're going to go Fife? Okay, I wanted one of us to go a little bit interesting, so I'll go Manchester for this one. I'll go with convention.
All right,
you go
fine,
with Fife. Okay. Any comments related on that need to be read out? I've got them here.
Yeah,
there's quite a lot of them.
We've had quite a lot. Yeah, you guys are really lighting it up in the chat tonight.
Thanks.
So what have we got? We've got Unhumorous the Gamer says Manchester's going to be the closest series.
No, not true.
Not true. Jacob Freeman, Manchester is going to win 8-5 on aggregate. Chris Brown says Cardiff Coventry would be close. Max Springer says it'll be very close. Fife have already smashed us in their barn this season. If Clement stays solid in net, we have a good chance and would be tough to beat at home.
Right.
Unhumorous the Gamer is going to both Manchester games, and he says they're going to be very close. So
just one thing. Brew Crew. Cardiff's record was 41 wins, 12 losses, 1 overtime loss, and 2 shootout losses for a win percentage of .759.
Yeah, and Sergeant Commodore 73, Fife could win it, but it will be a close series. I think it will be close. Yeah.
I think it'll be close, but I don't think it'll be the closest. And we'll get to that one later.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
The next series is between the Sheffield Steelers and the Guildford Flames. Now, lots of people, I mean, anytime I've done an Elite League video or any sort of mention of the Elite League and Guildford comes up, I have, resoundingly said how impressed I have been with Guildford this season. I think most
I agree.
Elite League fans, most Elite League fans are incredibly shocked with how well Guildford has done this year. And as I said, their ability to adapt on the fly and get rid of players that aren't necessarily working and bring in players that can help make an impact straight away has been really good for the Guildford Flames. That's helped them get that 6th spot. They're exactly the middle place in the league, for example. However, if they were playing against any other team, I would think they'd have a good chance. The problem is they haven't been very good against Sheffield this year. Sheffield is the only team that's managed to kind of run away with the score most of the matchups they've played. Guildford, as I said earlier in the season as well, he's made a really good job. Guildford have made a really good job of making it really tough for other teams to win. They'll take it to a shootout or stuff like that, you know.
Andy T makes a good point. They've got great goaltending, you know. Mustakov's 31 wins, 19 losses. I mean,
Mustakov's is a great goaltender, but he hasn't played very well these last few weeks. For example, Brad Day has played the last 3 games. So
yeah, I mean, Guildford, Sheffield in September. Sheffield 7-1.
I went to watch that. I went to Guildford to watch that.
Oh.
I believe that was the game. It was really good. Guildford's arena, very nice. I like the Guildford Spectrum. It's a nice place.
And then in January, it was Sheffield 7-3. In February, Guildford won 4-2.
Right, okay.
And then also in February, they lost 3-2. So it's 3-1 to the Steelers, and 2 of their wins have been quite big. But Guildford have managed to get a win from them.
Just to give you a sense of how annoying Guildford has been, they've got 9 overtime or shootout losses this season. That's the most out of any team in the Elite League. Just to give you a bit of context, the next place, I think, is Brayhead with 6.
Yes, you're right there. Well, Guildford just like to give their fans value for money, don't they? Yeah, some extra hockey.
Guildford are able to keep quite a lot of the games close. However, not against Sheffield.
Yeah.
Sheffield
so what else have we? That is very true. So what else have we got here then? Jacob Freeman. Why does Brian Stewart only play in nets for the Blaze?
I don't know.
What else have we got? Chris Brown. Sheffield playing at home might screw Sheffield's chances. Max Springer. Brad Day was exceptional against us.
Brad Day has played fantastically the last few games.
Andy T. Playoffs this new season. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's a fair point, but playoffs definitely is a new season. You're absolutely right. However, some of these rivalries do carry over. So some of these things like the routines or the method carries over quite a lot. Like, for example, Guildford has been thrashed a couple of times by Sheffield this season. They won't forget that. Like, they'll use that as something to go forward, but Sheffield will also remember, oh yeah, we can be... Guildford like to be a team to be a pain in the arse. We do that to them. Yeah, you know. So
I love it that my YouTube has just decided to notify me that you've gone live. I was like, I know that. I'm on it.
Yeah, I've gone live. If you want to watch it, there's a link on my Twitter.
It's like, I know that, I'm on it. What else have we got? Jacob Freeman went to MK's arena, and it's the
really
most
want to go
stupidly
there.
designed arena I've ever been to. Jacob, what makes it so stupid?
That's one of the closer arenas to me. That's actually the closest arena to me now in the Elite League, and I still haven't gone yet. One thing I would say though.
Quick question.
Oh, hello.
Sorry, I was going to respond to chats, but make your point first.
I was just asking. So, who do you think's going to win this series?
The Sheffield Guildford. Sheffield.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sheffield as well. I want Guildford to win because I want their like fairy tale season to carry on. I'd love to see Guildford in their first season make it to the playoff weekend. Like, how great would that be?
Yeah. So Jacob Freeman says, there's loads of poles in the way of the view. Do you get like restricted view tickets, or is it just really bad? And he also says, did you see Brett Ferguson stand on Kevin Noble last night? I haven't.
No, I haven't.
I haven't caught up yet because I've been at work today, so I've not had a chance.
I watched the Edinburgh Capitals Twitter.
Oh right, okay.
And saw them say 2-0 Edinburgh, and then I face palmed. The last series and the most interesting and the most competitive one, and this isn't to do with a bias at all. Like, I want to say that right now. This isn't because I'm a Nottingham fan. It's because this is genuinely the most interesting series out of all of them. Nottingham versus Belfast.
Especially when did Nottingham do the Grand Slam? 12-13. So for a few years either side of that. So between kind of 2011 and 2014, they were the two teams.
Yeah.
Because Sheffield kind of not slacked off, but kind of drifted away a little bit for a few years. And Nottingham and Belfast were the two big teams. And they were the teams where you went, well, whoever wins the season out of that's got a good chance of finishing on top.
Yeah.
And especially in the playoffs, that intensity is going to be so high.
And considering Belfast knocked Nottingham out of the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup.
With a terrific performance from Nottingham there.
Yeah, they managed to tie the aggregate up, and then they forgot how to play hockey.
And then choked.
That was good.
Yeah, just completely choked.
Yeah, it irritates me.
That was just their payback for winning the league in their barn.
Basically, it's the only time Nottingham's won the league as well. Who do you think's going to win this one and why, Chris?
Chris Brown has popped up with a great line just as I was going to start. He says, in his opinion, all depends what Panthers show up in Belfast, and that's about right.
Yep.
I mean, if a really good Panthers team show up and they actually play decent hockey and they can take a win away from Belfast on Friday, they've got every chance in Nottingham. If they play like the last time they played in Belfast, well, yeah, it's going to be Giants. Jacob Freeman says he's going to go for the Giants because they'll pull away in their home leg. And to be honest, as much as it pains me to say it, I think the Giants will do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think Belfast is going to win this series because Nottingham have shown us all season that they're professional choke artists this year. Any time they have a 1-goal lead going into the final minute of the third period, see that gone. Bye. See you later. Anytime that they have a lead going into the third period, okay, bye, see you later. Anytime they're really close and they're like a goal down, nope, not happening. Okay, see you later, goodbye.
Yeah, it just didn't work. Just while Andy, Elite League attendance surpasses 1 million for the first time. Yes, it has. We will talk about that later. We're getting there. Yes. Promise.
We've got some stuff to talk about. Don't you worry.
And hello, Joe Kelly.
Hello. So, Nottingham, Belfast. I want Nottingham to win. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see them in playoff.
But I think
playoff
Belfast
final weekend in Nottingham. It is their arena. They weren't there last year. Bit embarrassing. I would like to see Nottingham go through. Of course I would. I'm a Nottingham Panthers fan. I've made that abundantly clear. However, I think Belfast have had a good year this year. I think they've played well. I don't think their place in the standings reflects how well they've played.
Oh, Belfast.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Well, I mean, if you consider that there's only 2 points between third and sixth,
exactly.
Then I mean,
I think they should have taken third.
Yeah, a lot of you guys are agreeing with us here. Jacob Freeman's going for the Giants. They'll pull it away in their home leg. Panthers will get close, about 8-7 on aggregate. Jacob Freeman says they've been really poor this season by their standards. Chris Brown, Belfast playing away in the second leg, so Panthers might pull back the aggregate, but I can see this potentially going to OT.
Oh, don't give me flashbacks of last year against Sheffield. I don't want it to go to overtime. Like, if they're going to lose, just lose in regulation, for God's sake.
Andy T says he wants Panthers to win. Joe Kelly says he hopes Nottingham win as he's going on Sunday.
I might see you there. I'm planning on going.
Yeah, and Jacob Freeman says he reckons Giants will win the playoffs.
Yeah, I could see that. So who are you going for the series then? Nottingham, Belfast? Are you going Belfast?
I'm going Belfast. I need a piece of paper for us to do our bracket.
Ah, good idea. Yeah, yes.
Hang on. Right, hang on.
So we're gonna do. We can have differences. So write 2 brackets.
Yeah, well, the only difference that we've disagreed on is the Sheffield 5 game. Oh, sorry, Manchester 5 game.
You know what? Just to mix it up a little bit, if you're going Belfast, I'll go Nottingham. You know, just to
make things difficult for me, don't you?
Well, I mean, somebody has to. Look.
Well, the bracket is going to be. So you're saying Cardiff, Manchester, Sheffield, and Nottingham.
Basically, the top 4. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So if you're saying that, then it'll be Cardiff, Nottingham in the semis, and Manchester, Sheffield. So who are you going off that?
So it's Cardiff, Nottingham.
It's Cardiff, Nottingham. Don't forget this is a one game shootout, right?
Because Cardiff have destroyed Nottingham far too many times this season. Now the Manchester Sheffield one's interesting because they played yesterday, and Sheffield actually played quite well against Manchester. They got the win. They're only one. They're actually only one regulation win apart. It's just that Manchester picked up a couple more points and got less regulation losses. So now Sheffield have been quite good against Manchester, but they've had a really successful season. I'd like to see Manchester go through purely for the fact then it's a 1 and 2 seed. But I think Sheffield's going to take it.
Right. Okay. So then you've got a Cardiff Sheffield final.
Now, that's a tough one. Because it was literally 1 goal difference. It went to double overtime, didn't it, last year?
Yes, it did.
It was Cardiff and Sheffield last playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going completely against the stats. Cardiff are going to win it.
Cardiff, okay.
Cardiff are going to win it. They won 2 out of 3 of the trophies last year. They're going to win 2 out of 3 of the trophies this year. Just swapping one for another one.
Yeah, okay. What have we got? Before I give you mine, let's see what we've got, because a lot of chat was going in there.
Sure.
So Joe Kelly says, as much as I hate to say, I believe Sheffield Steelers will win the playoffs.
Yeah.
Chris Brown says he's going to go for Cardiff 5, Sheffield and Giants. Chris, that's exactly what I've got down. I'll do my bracket in a minute.
Look at you being all similar.
Max Springer says, it pains me to say it, but Sheffield to beat Manchester, they've had our number for 3 years.
Yeah.
Unhumorous gamer, Manchester didn't try last night.
Why not?
And Andy T, Sheffield over Manchester. Well, I guess, they were guaranteed to get second, weren't they? So
that's not the point.
No, I know it's not.
What
Max,
Manchester could have done was, you know what would have been great, is if Manchester had tried last night, because then Nottingham would have won, Sheffield would have lost, and then Nottingham would be in third playing Guildford. Now that's a good series. And then Sheffield-Belfast. 2 brilliant series.
Yeah.
You should just make me fix the league. It's perfect. I'll rig
Chris
it.
Brown again.
It's like the KHL.
I was going to say, don't be Putin, will you? Chris Brown, Manchester was supposedly smashed out of their skull and was suffering on Sunday. Jacob Freeman, I'm going to the Blaze game on Friday night. Would have gone to the away leg, but we'd already booked concert tickets. Our priorities, Jacob. Come on.
Hockey
Max
before
Springer.
music.
Storm didn't try last night, but can't see us beating any decent team in a one-and-done game on a big ice pad. And Joe Kelly, I sure hope Nottingham surprises. Of course, we have the big announcement tomorrow.
Yes,
big announcement.
We will have a bit of speculation about that in a little while, I think.
Well, now that we've ruled out that it's a new coach, because they're still doing interviews.
Yes, and they're waiting until the end of some of the seasons as well, aren't they, to talk to people.
Yeah, big announcement and a new era. It's got to be something that's in there long term. So it's either the sponsor of GMB or Gary Moran's going, but we'll see.
Or
anyway,
they're hiring me.
Yeah.
The awkward silence that followed.
I thought it was us that were hiring you anyway.
Yeah, well, you could do that if you want. I'll work both. I'm flexible.
Maybe this new era is they're introducing a webcast.
Oh, please. Please. Panthers.
Or
You're living in the
maybe
Stone
not.
Age here, lads.
Okay, let's go back to my bracket before we go so far off topic that we don't come back to it at all.
Sure.
So my bracket obviously starts slightly differently to yours because we had different
Cardiff,
teams.
Manchester. No, Cardiff,
So
Fife.
I had Cardiff,
Sheffield,
Fife,
Belfast.
Sheffield, and Belfast. Now Cardiff would end up playing Fife,
Right.
so that's going to be Cardiff.
I love how there's no discussion. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
And then Sheffield, Belfast in the semi-final, and I've gone for Belfast in this one
Oh, okay.
because, well, I mean, it could go either way.
What's the season series been like compared to Sheffield and Belfast?
I'd have to.
Because that's
you have to
one
give
I
me
don't
a
know.
couple of seconds. But then then obviously I've got Cardiff and Belfast in the final, and I've gone for Belfast.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
They proved they can do it in the Challenge Cup,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think they can do it again, especially on a big rink with a huge crowd.
So
Right.
sorry, was that Cardiff Belfast?
Cardiff Belfast in the final, and Belfast to win
So you've got Cardiff Belfast in the final with a Belfast win. I've got Cardiff Sheffield in the
with a Cardiff
final
win.
with a Cardiff win. We're both
Belfast.
going to be so wrong.
Belfast against Sheffield in the league. In September, they had a double header. Belfast won 3-1 and Belfast won 2-0.
Okay.
And then in October, Belfast won 4-3.
Right. So that's 3-0.
In December, they won 3-2.
4-0.
In January, they lost 3-2.
4-1.
And then the day after, they won 5-1.
So they're 5-1 in games against
And
Sheffield.
then in the end of January, they lost 8-0.
Oh, Belfast, what are you doing?
In February, so that's
5
5
and
and 2. In February, they won 2-1, so that's 6 and 2. Yeah, 6 and 2. Bearing in mind, 2 of those would have been Challenge Cup, I suspect, isn't
Okay.
it? Sure. Yeah, it would be the group of the Challenge Cup, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, they play
No.
8 times in the league. What am I on about?
Yeah, 'cause they
no.
played Nottingham in the.
Yeah,
other
no,
Challenge Cup,
yeah,
didn't
6 and 2 for Belfast. So
Wow.
suddenly my prediction's looking a bit better.
That makes sense.
Chris Brown, Panthers webcast. April Fool's Day isn't today, is it? No.
No, that's the day that the Giants are going to smash the Nottingham Panthers in their home arena and go through to the playoff final weekend.
Yeah, it's
Positivity.
just not going to go well for us, is it? It's really not.
It's yeah. So you've got Belfast winning it. I've got Cardiff. We need to have
Yes.
some sort of wager here, Chris. Like, so if I win, you need to do something. If you win, I need to do something. And if neither of us win, then we both have to do something.
Hang on, I'm already your art designer and your sponsor, and I got you live commentary gig. What more
Listen
do I
here,
have to
mate. Life isn't always roses and unicorns. So, people in the chat, I want to get a little bet going with Chris here. Not money.
Oh.
We're not doing any financial shit, or we're not doing anything super crazy. I just want to.
Chris Brown,
see.
rival shirt on social media. I like that.
I mean, we're both Panthers fans.
Yeah, so it's just going to be Sheffield, isn't it?
Oh, but I ain't got a Steelers jersey.
Neither have I, and I'm not buying one.
So yeah, come up with some ideas in the chat. We'll try and find the best one. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the playoffs. That's everything decided. Let us know who you think's going to win the playoffs all round. Be interesting.
Oh, Max says you've got to be a goalie for a Lions practice if possible.
I can't even ice skate. That would be something.
That doesn't
to
matter.
behold.
That doesn't matter. All you do is stand in the goal, and
Stack
the Lions
pads.
won't hit
I'll
the net
Dominic
anyway.
Hasek my way through it. Perfect. So let's talk about some of the other news around.
Yeah, should we
The
start with
Elite
Edinburgh, because that's kind of some big news.
They're shit. Breaking news. Okay,
I meant kind of the new board rather than just.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Let me see if I can find the. Here we go. So I'm going to read
that's
the
quick.
article that they put up.
All right.
Edinburgh Capitals announced new management structure. This was on March the 21st, 2018, at 9:24 p.m. GMT, just in case you were curious. So, the Edinburgh Capitals have announced a new management structure and have committed to the Elite League next season. Just let it stop, please. After a season of uncertainty off the ice, well, yeah, no kidding, you won 5 games this season, they have announced a new board. Will be formed to look after the club and its interests as they look to next season. They must have watched my YouTube video. The club will be managed by the Edinburgh Capitals board, who will keep Scott Neal as the club's head of hockey operations as they outline their way forward. Now, most people
probably think... Odd man rush.
Yeah. They should just hire me. I could fucking do a better job. In a statement on the club's website, it said, quote, "The club has spent the last few months working on a major change in structure which will help it develop and create a stronger future." Well, I mean, you can't really get any worse than the bottom of the league, so, you know.
Hello, Elliot. Are you enjoying the off-season? Sorry,
Hello,
I just noticed Elliot Perrin's popped up, and I was like, is he enjoying the off-season now?
So,
have your broken teeth recovered yet, Elliot?
So, a few more quotes regarding Edinburgh. "This new structure is something that should have been put in place some time ago." No kidding. "And there is no hiding the fact that mistakes have been made." You don't need to tell us that. Like, do you want to look at the standings again? We know. "This will see a major change in the management of the club as it rebuilds, and will now be managed by the Edinburgh Capitals board, which will have investors." The Edinburgh Capitals having investors? What's this?
Whilst I think about it, just jumping out, Joe Kelly, the Elliot that's just joined, is captain of the Nottingham Lions, if you want to start chatting, because I know you're looking to get involved in the NIHC.
Ah, yeah, good call. Anyway,
so there we go.
Back to what I was talking about.
Sorry, while I thought about it, I thought I'll get it in.
Right, It's all right. I mean, it's not as if it's my podcast or anything. So, anyway, where was I? This will be a major change in the management of the club as it rebuilds and will now be managed by the Edinburgh Capitals board, which will have investors and representatives from several business areas and professions who will meet monthly. So it's like an Edinburgh Capitals period. Sorry. They have committed to a significant level of investment and are ready to begin implementing a robust business plan and stronger roster for next season. Now, I haven't really followed the Edinburgh Capitals very much over the last few years. I mean, I've only started getting properly into the Elite Ice Hockey League over the last year or so. I kind of feel like they've probably said this every year for the last 13 years. Whether that is true, I don't know. Let me know. Okay, so that's the end of the quotes. The new board will consist of 2 fan representatives, which is very interesting. One from the Edinburgh Capitals Supporters Club and a fan of the club who doesn't work or volunteer in any capacity. Interesting. But as the statement continues, the club are keen to be more transparent. There's a typing error here. Elite Ice Hockey League. Typos, man. The club are keen to be more transparent in the way they run things and get the fans back on side after an uneasy relationship this season. It's not just this season, Edinburgh. The statement added, "These 2 board members would bring ideas and a different perspective to decisions, and this new access will allow the Capitals to have far greater transparency in the way in which the club is run. It is the first step in earning back the trust from Edinburgh Capitals fans, and the board hope that over time this will help renew the close bond between club and fans, which has been a major part of the club's identity in the past." Then finally, the Edinburgh Capitals board are committed to bringing the fans competitive Elite League hockey next year with a strong roster of players and a club that they can be proud of once again. So that's nice. The only thing I would say is, what I would have really liked them to do, and I would have had a lot more respect for people such as Scott Neal and anybody else that's helped run the Edinburgh Capitals these last few years, if they'd just gone, "Look, we proper fucked this up. It was really bad. We've been the laughingstock of the Elite League, but we promise we're going to try and do everything in our power to make sure this gets sorted." If they'd said that, I would have had so much more respect for them. This is just very much like corporate lingo, if you know what I mean. It's like, "Oh, we're committed to making sure we actually win some games next season." Which is like, well, yeah, of course you're going to say that. You're a team, you're a business. You're a business that earns money on winning games. Like, you're not going to say, "Well, next year, I'm thinking we're going to get 4 wins, maybe 3. Like, you're not going to say that. Of course, you're going to go, oh, I want the future to be bright. We're getting some money coming in. Like, as I said, I don't follow Edinburgh that much, or I haven't followed Edinburgh hugely over the last few years. So the only thing I'd say is I get the feeling Edinburgh Capitals fans have heard this before. The question is, will it work?
Yeah, I think what I really like is the fact they're putting somebody from the Edinburgh Capitals Supporters Trust on the board, which means they've got a direct link between team and supporters.
The only problem I think I have with that is how much sway are they actually going to have?
I don't think it's so much about sway. It's more just listening to what the fans are thinking.
Well, okay. I'll phrase it differently. How much do you think that they're actually going to listen to that fan representative? Because if the fan representative turned up and was like, look, you've been beaten by 10 goals for the last 5 games. You need to sort it out, or people won't come. Will they be like, oh yeah, it's fine, we're sorting it out, and they don't actually do anything?
Well, I mean, there's not a great deal that obviously they can do, really. But I mean, especially if it's just in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
But I think it's more just rather than the fans saying what's wrong, I think it's more the board going, okay, so going to the fan and go, so what can we do to get more people in and keep the faith in the club? Do we need to do, discounted child tickets? Do we need to do X, Y, Z?
But I would argue, that there isn't any faith in this club. Like,
that's what I mean. So how do you get the faith back? That's what they need to be talking to the fan representative.
You need to win hockey games. That's how you get the faith back. Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, like as much as we like to talk about, oh, this team should win it because of this, or this team should have this because of that. At the end of the day, hockey clubs are businesses, and they're in the business of making money. That's what a business does. So
yeah.
The problem that I have with this is, like, they can do any sort of thing. They could make the tickets free, for God's sake, and most people wouldn't turn up, I think. Because they don't win hockey games. Like, taking this season as an example. 56 games played. 5 wins. 50 regulation losses. And 1 shootout loss.
Yeah, I know.
You would have thought a team like that would be like, oh, we'll try and throw in as many overtime or shootout losses as possible. Their win percentage was .098. That's disgusting. Like, that's really bad. Like, oh, it's such a pain. Like, I get what you're saying. I absolutely get what you're saying. Like, they need to do everything that they can. They basically need to strip everything back and start from the bottom. But,
before we started this stream, and I said, am I going to need an odd man rant card for tonight?
This isn't a rant. This isn't a rant. No. This isn't a rant. This is a cry for help for the Edinburgh Capitals. Like,
okay.
I pity the Edinburgh Capitals. I feel sorry for them. You should never be in a league that you feel sorry for one of the other teams.
No,
you shouldn't. They're basically the Arizona Coyotes of the Elite Ice Hockey League. Like, nobody turns up to watch their hockey games, mainly because they don't win hockey games most of the time. They're in a place that could potentially have a solid NHL fan base, but they don't do the right things. Like, I just feel sorry for Edinburgh Capitals fans that have had to deal with this for the last 13 years. Like, there's one season where I think there's 2, like, based on, I can't remember the exact stats from the video that I made, because, of course, most of you that are Elite League fans that follow my channel regularly, I did make a video about the Edinburgh Capitals recently, and whether they needed to fold or whether they needed to be saved. This looks like they're going in the direction of save, and I'm really glad that they're doing it. When I first read this, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. This could really help. However, they have got so much work to do to actually get people through the doors. Like, somebody mentioned in the chat, like Max Springer, like 662 average attendance. Yeah. For an entire 56, well, I mean, what, 28 games?
Yeah,
600 people turning up.
That's just in the league. Don't forget the Challenge Cup as well.
Well, where they got destroyed even more, most likely. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. What I mean is the 28 plus the 6 in the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just you shouldn't pity an opponent. Like, if they've had like 4 million players injured, then well, that really sucks for them. Like they have players leaving every year because they've had enough. Like they want to play for a team that actually wins hockey games. And do you blame them? Do you blame them?
Chris Brown says, "Isn't a rant then still rants with lots of crying faces?"
It's not a rant. It's not a rant.
Can we ban the Edinburgh Capitals topic because it adds like 20 minutes into the podcast?
It's an important topic though, because
Joe Kelly, I agree with you completely. Every single year I pity Edinburgh as they cannot compete with the level of talent. Jacob Freeman, they're like Arizona, except they win even less games and don't have a distinctly average hockey player named Oliver Ekman-Larsson. For the free Challenge Cup games, Max, there's a 708 average attendance. Thanks for that, Max.
Oh, wow, Max, thank you very much.
So they do better in the Challenge Cup than they do in the league.
It's because they actually feel like they have a chance of winning, Matt.
No, they don't. They're Edinburgh.
No, they don't. So, okay, to summarise.
Yeah,
Edinburgh Capitals, new management structure. I'm feeling very positive about this, and I hope that it helps. And I'd like to see them succeed more next season. I mean, they might not come out of last place next season, but I'd like to see them hit at least I'd like to see them double their win total. 10 wins on a season. Can they do that? Okay, right, that's done. Right, next topic of conversation. What was the next one?
Well, there's the Panthers announcement and there's the 1 million attendance.
Let's talk about the 1 million attendance. Oh, there was another part of that I did want to talk about, and that came out last week. It's
you'll have to remind me on that one.
It's the EIHL attendances among Europe's top 10.
Oh, yes.
So,
yeah.
Let me read this article to you. This was released on March the 20th, 2018, at 9:44 p.m. GMT, just in case you were wondering. The Elite Ice Hockey League has once again seen its average league attendance ranked among the top 10 in Europe and Asia, an International Ice Hockey Federation study has revealed. During the 17-18 regular season, the Elite Ice Hockey League's average attendance was 2,678, higher than the Slovakian Extraliga, Norwegian Gatligaen, French Ligue Magnus, and Danish Metalligaen.
There you go, you see, EA, we've got higher attendances than these leagues put us in.
Damn right, son. 3 EIHL sides were also placed among the top 100 clubs in Europe in average attendance.
Panthers!
So, yeah. Speaking of those teams, the Nottingham Panthers were the highest ranked British club in attendance in 40th out of 100. In the top 50%, that's pretty good. Ahead of the KHL's Dynamo Moscow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty decent. While the Sheffield Steelers moved up from 64th to 53rd in the rankings this year, so they're almost in the top 50%, and they have a webcast, by the way. The Belfast Giants also made the top 100, ranking 70th on the list, which includes teams from the KHL, SHL, La Liga, the EBEL, which is the German league, and the NLA, which is the Swiss league, with 14 different nations represented overall. Swiss side SC Bern, who Nottingham faced in this year's Champions Hockey League and beat once, I might add, finished top of the rankings for the 17th straight year, while SKA St. Petersburg, the team that's meant to win the playoffs this year, their heavy investment paid dividends in the stands too, with the famous Russian side moving past Dynamo Minsk into second place. Unsurprisingly, of course, the National Hockey League was top-ranked league in the world, averaging 17,414 attendees per game, with the Blackhawks 21,635 and the Montreal Canadiens 21,299, both averaging more than 20,000 attendees per game. Both teams aren't in the playoffs this year. The full list of the top 100 clubs and top-ranked leagues in Europe and Asia can be found on the IIHF website here. So we could go through that. I don't think we need to.
We're not going to list all 100 teams.
No.
That would just take all night.
Just to give you... SC Bern get more people through the door than the Gagarin Cup league-winning Russian side, Putin's team. If that's not impressive, I don't know what is.
What was Bern's average?
SC Bern is... I'll check, actually, because...
I thought it said top.
Yeah, no, yeah, they were top. Yeah, I'm just checking.
Yeah, Elliot, I put that in for a reason.
Swiss giant SC Bern leads the European attendance study for the 17th consecutive 17 straight years. Jesus. An average attendance of 16,371.
Right. Their average attendance was it 16,000 what? 300.
371.
Their average attendance for a single game is only 900 less than Edinburgh had all season as a total.
Let's not get back onto Edinburgh, please.
No, I would have picked any team, but it's only because Max put the Edinburgh one in. But anyway,
fair play. So that's really good. 3 of the 12 Elite Ice Hockey League sides are in the top 100. Almost 2 are in the top 50. That's pretty
really
impressive.
Good for British hockey. Really is.
Like, the problem is, based on like moving on to the next story, which we'll get into in a minute about the 1 million attendees. How many of them are repeats? That's the question I want answered. Like, of course, it'd be difficult to figure it out, but I would be interested in seeing a rough percentage of how many people are like season ticket holders, or how many people have seen like this many games this season. How many have seen like 1 to 5 games this season? That's what I'd be interested in. Like, what percentage?
Well, season tickets you could find out if you cared enough to put in a freedom of information request to each of the 12 teams.
Yeah. Which I won't. Because that's
no,
work.
I know. But in terms of like 1 to 5 games, that's difficult apart from putting a massive survey out.
Yeah, it would be difficult, but I'd just be interested to see what the response was. Like, if it was like 5% of all the people that had watched 1 to 5 games, then that would mean that the league isn't growing as much as it could be. We want. The problem is we don't want the same. Well, we want the same people turning up because that means the attendance will be solid. But we want to get more people through the door.
Yeah, and I think that's difficult depending on where you live, I think, because if you've got a team like Cardiff who have only got a 2,100 stadium and they are, being so successful, they have a lot of season ticket holders, there's less tickets available. I'm not saying you can't get Cardiff tickets, because you can, but you know what I mean? There's so a good percentage of those are season ticket holders.
Yeah, no, it's very true. It's like Cardiff is a prime example of, now that they're starting to get success, they need to get a bigger arena. Well, they've only just built a new arena because they were in the temporary arena for 10 years. Right, because for example, Nottingham, Steelers, Belfast, they are the 3 biggest arenas in the country.
Yeah.
That's why they have the opportunity to be so high in attendance figures, because they've managed to get because Nottingham can hold what, 9,000?
No, for hockey it's 7,500.
7,500. The Steelers can hold, I think they can hold about
8,000.
8,000, and I believe Belfast can hold 11,000.
Yeah.
So,
Max with his stats again. When you take away MK and Guildford, there's an extra 62,000 total attendance for the Elite League teams from last year.
Really?
So over the course of, if you divide that by 10 roughly, so that's 6,200 per team extra going this year.
That's pretty decent.
Max, you're on it with the stats tonight.
Max, you're our stats guy. I love it. Keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, some, I say slight insider information. It's not really. It's only because I lived in Cardiff for 3 years. They are thinking about potentially building an arena in Cardiff.
They really should.
That is midway between the Motorpoint Arena, which holds about 3,000, and they use for the odd comedian and the Welsh Open snooker.
Oh, thrilling.
Yeah, I know. I worked on it. It was pretty good.
Oh, good.
And the Principality Stadium, Millennium Stadium, the big rugby one, which holds 75,000. They're looking at maybe doing something in between.
Right.
And if I was them, I would do a multi-purpose one, a bit like the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham, where you have ice, but you can lay it over the top for bands and stuff.
And like the Fly DSA Arena in Sheffield. Yeah.
Yeah. Because And also put it in the middle of Cardiff because I'm fed up with walking. Not that I go anymore, but...
So, what I would say about, I think Cardiff are the best example of a team that could capitalise on a new arena at the moment.
Yeah,
They've won two consecutive titles. They won a Challenge Cup last year. They could potentially, they went to the final of the Challenge Cup this year. They could potentially play or win the playoffs, which I hope they do because of my bracket this year. So if they keep getting this success, more people will want to come and see the games. The best way to get more people to come and see your games is to see the on-ice product winning consistently.
I'm not so bothered. Winning, yes, obviously, but just have a good game.
Yeah, or make it competitive enough that if you lose, they don't care.
Yeah.
So, the EIHL attendance has ranked among Europe's top 10 out of the 14 different nations. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 19 different nations? It's either 14 or 19. So leading on from that, which a couple of people have mentioned already, let me just get up the exact article. The Elite Ice Hockey League has surpassed 1 million attendees for the first time
they have
in the league's history in the 13 years it's been here. So, March 24th, 2018, 10:46 p.m. GMT, just in case you're wondering. The number of people watching Elite League hockey has passed 1 million for the first time this season. And it cut it really close towards the end of the year, though, didn't it? Heading into the weekend, 995,734 people had attended Elite League or Challenge Cup games during the 2017/18 season. So this does include Challenge Cup matchups as well. With 6 games that took place on Saturday night, taking the EIHL past the magic 1 million barrier. Quote.
Yes.
Oh, you want to
go on, sorry.
Okay.
No, feel free. Finish the article. I didn't realise you hadn't finished.
Quote. It's a testament to the hard work of everyone involved with the Elite League that we have reached this significant milestone, said Elite League chairman and Sheffield Steelers owner Tony Smith. Just going to make that clear. Another quote. This news comes hot off the back of the... Is this a quote? Oh yeah, I think it is. I think it's still Tony Smith. This news comes hot off the back of the recent IIHF study, which we've just mentioned. Oh, look at that. Which named the EIHL among the top 10 leagues in Europe and Asia in terms of average attendance. It's like we're repeating ourselves. And is further proof of the steady progress we continue to make. Then lastly, the additions of Guildford and Milton Keynes, as Max has mentioned to us their figures, this season have been a real boon. Boon or boom?
Boon? Boom, I think you mean.
It says boon. Boon to the league, and we are confident...
Is that another typo on the Elite League website?
Get me to write your bloody articles. I'll spell check. And we are confident we can continue to see further growth over the coming years.
Yes, now... It's great. We've gone past 1 million.
Yeah.
Remember, of course, that we have 2 more teams and therefore are playing extra games this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's another 112 games this year.
Was there really?
Well, yeah, because Guildford and Milton Keynes both play 56 games, don't they?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
yeah,
but
it's more than that. It's more than that because you've then got to add 2 games for all the other teams.
No, because they played 56 last season.
I thought they played 54.
I could have sworn they played 56 last season.
Okay, anyway, yeah, they've played 100 extra games, and at 2,000 each or whatever, that's like 200,000. But yes,
I will give those smaller teams credit. The Guildford, I haven't been to Milton Keynes yet, but from what I've seen, they have a very dedicated fan base. The Guildford Flames have quite a dedicated fan base in Guildford. I was quite surprised when I went there how many fans there were.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, obviously, Guildford and Milton Keynes having come up from what was the English Premier League, which is now no more and replaced by the NIHL.
Yep.
They've done a really good job for their first season in the league. I mean, yeah, okay, Milton Keynes have fallen away somewhat, but I always seem to remember kind of November time, they were in like 4th and 5th or something.
Yeah, I mean, once again, just a quick callback. The Milton Keynes weren't last.
No.
I think for a team coming into the league against a powerhouse and a plethora of ex-first-round picks and ex-college superstars, like, that's really good to not come in last place. That to me, if I was the general manager of Milton Keynes, I'd be like, that was a successful season.
Oh, I would take it as a successful season. Andy, considering you've been practically begging us to talk about this for an hour. What's your opinion on the going past the 1 million? And Max Springer, the NIHL, what a mess. Why is the NIHL a mess, Max?
Are you getting a bit triggered here, Chris? Do you need to calm down?
No, I'm just no.
Here
I'm
comes
just
the
curious.
rant.
I'm just curious as to why he's saying it's a mess. So that's all. So
sure?
yeah, passing 1 million. EA, listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going on about it until it goes in.
Elite Ice Hockey League. Let people know that I have a podcast, because I'll keep doing them if people watch them.
Yeah.
So, I think it's great for the league and the sport. Perfect. So do I.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what will give it a further boost is if Great Britain can win over in Lithuania.
Yes, because it's the under-18s, isn't it, at the moment?
The
under-18s play first.
No, the under-18s is this weekend.
Well, it's the 1st to the 7th of April.
Sunday to because
and then the men's one is. I assume the men's one's after the playoffs ends, isn't it? Because I usually watch it. It's late April.
It's the 20-something of April, if I remember.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It shows that
if we get promoted from that, we're like one step away from the Olympics. That'd just be incredible.
Well, we'll be in Olympic contention.
And yeah, we go straight into Olympic qualification, don't we?
Yeah, because we're now in the division below, because we're Division 1A, aren't we? So if we go up here, we'll be in Division 1 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, then you go into the Olympic qualification playoff, don't you?
Yeah, and we'll play teams like Germany and.
Yeah, and if we beat them, we're
Germany
getting to the Olympics.
fucking brilliantly. So.
Well, yeah, we won't beat Germany, but okay, what have we got, Andy? I think it's great for the league and the sport. It shows that other leagues can thrive. It doesn't have to just be USA Hockey that thrives. You prefer watching the Elite League over most USA-based hockey leagues.
Interesting.
And then
I like it that they're different.
Sorry, go on. Yeah,
I like it
Joe Kelly's going to many Lions games next season. He wants to witness the NIHL in all its glory, plus it's good to support his local side. Max says that the NIHL needs restructuring. He's expecting there to be an English National League Premier with an English National League North and English National League South, just to make the leagues a bit more competitive.
You're probably better to answer this one.
Yeah, I mean, the problem. I mean, I've only been around the NIHL for a single season, but the scores don't always do it justice. I know, yes, when you came, the Lions lost 6-1, but they took the Blackburn Hawks to overtime and lost 6-5. They held Sheffield to like 4-2 a couple of times and all the rest of it. And it's just, it is competitive. Yes, you've got teams like D-Side who got 4 points from the entire season, but it's good to develop. I think it's more, to me, I would like to see it used as a development for the younger players, which is what it is.
It should essentially be the AHL to the Elite League's NHL.
Yeah, as Elliot says, budgets talk, I'm afraid, and yeah, you're right. The budgets are just. I mean, the highest paid player in the league is about £150 a week, and obviously they all have other jobs as well.
Yeah, well, so do some of the Edinburgh players.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it is there, as you say, Max. There is a big difference in the NIHL because you've got some teams where players are on two-way contracts with with Elite League teams, and you've got some teams that have to pay to play, and that's the difference.
The problem is, if we want the sport in general to grow, we need funding from the bottom up.
Yeah, well, it's mentioned all the time in football about grassroots, and it's kind of ice roots in this, but
yeah,
it's got to go from the ground up.
So there are two more things I definitely want to talk about, and if there are any others that the chat have or you have, Chris, let us know.
The chat did mention, I don't know if this was one of your things, but the Brayhead losing.
Yes,
I've lost it. Oh, is that one of them? Okay,
yeah,
carry on then.
Because I noticed that earlier today. The one before that, though, this was on March the 19th, 2018, 8:43 p.m. GMT, just in case you're wondering. Dundee Stars coach and general manager Omar Pacha, as they say, Pacha, says he wants to continue to help the club grow after agreeing a new 3-year contract. The former Hull Stingrays and Manchester Storm coach has agreed to extend his time in Scotland, despite the club missing out on the playoffs this year. After arriving in late August, Patcher is keen to see where next season takes him and his team. I always see him on Twitter post-game. I always just see his little face there like, oh, I'm just happy to be here. And a quote from Omar himself. I'm really excited to be working with the Stars for the next 3 years to come, he said. It's a club that has grown drastically from August until now, with so much more potential on and off the ice. We've faced so much adversity, but to still grow the attendance and be a leader in the community is a huge positive. This is a club that is growing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where we can take this team on and off the ice. Stars director Steve Wood added, Omar has been a breath of fresh air to the club, and his hard work and commitment has been admirable. He is passionate about growing this organisation, and I could not be happier to have him lead the club in the coming years. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't football. You don't change manager every 2 months.
No.
And I think, giving him time is a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, like they said, like, they may have missed out on the playoffs, but they saw the attendance go up, and he's been a big face in the community, and he's helped to grow the sport in Dundee. So
yeah. Andy says, Chris, how many American players currently play in the Elite League? Do you know the answer? And this is like a test, or are you wanting me to know the answer because I don't?
Max Springer, can you find out for us?
Yeah. And he said, Max also says the Storm have partnership with Hull Pirates and the Aces. The Aces are paid, cost one of his friends around $3,000 to play for them for a season.
Ooh,
yeah.
Damn.
3,000. But what you've got, and but yes, the Storm have a partnership, but you've got D-Side had no partnership, Nottingham have no partnership.
Here we
go. No, I'm just, and when you consider that you've got to buy your own equipment, jerseys, like, if you break a stick, and sometimes you struggle to afford to pay a new one. No, I don't know how many Americans. I think Andy, the imports, they tend to go from Canada mainly.
There's a lot of Canadians.
There is a lot. I mean, Cardiff have a really strong British core, and then fill it with Canadian imports that can just score at will.
Which they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that story done. I'm pleased that somebody said it's pronounced Pasha. Okay, Pasha. Yeah,
oh, yeah,
great
Pasha,
that he's still
yeah.
there. I always see him on Twitter post game, like giving his little chat. He seems like he's doing a good job for Dundee, even though they didn't make it, which is a shame, obviously.
Oh, there we go, Max. 30 USA players in the Elite League and 115 Canadians.
Jesus! Wow, that's a lot of Canadians.
Thanks, Max.
Let me just find this thing about the Brayhead boss. They don't actually have it on the latest news of the EIHL.
We've got
website.
Brayhead and Nottingham left to cover, haven't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Nottingham. Good call.
Yeah, we've got this rumour mill, which that's not going to take very long because we can only speculate.
Yeah, but we can speculate. Well, I mean, the trade deadline in the NHL, all they do is bloody speculate. They managed to make like a 4-week show out of it.
Here we go. Right, the Brayhead clan can confirm that they've parted company with head coach John Tripp. They would like to thank John for his contributions since joining the club last summer. He leaves the club on very good terms and has our utmost respect, says Hockey and Operations Director Gareth Chalmers. We thank him for his hard work and commitment over the past 10 months. It's been bitterly disappointing for this organisation to finish 9th in the league, miss out on the playoffs and not retain the Gardner Conference title. Our aspirations are for the clan to be competing for silverware and not battling for a playoff spot. The club will now focus on ensuring that we appoint a new head coach promptly that will allow us to start building a competitive and exciting team for the 2018-19 season. Basically, what you can take from that when you take away what you say, the corporate stuff, he's been sacked because they haven't got any trophies.
Yeah, which, I mean...
He's not made the playoffs. He's not won the Gardner Conference, so...
I mean, once again, it's the example of hockey being a business, and if you don't get the results, then your job's on the line. Now, I saw when the Elite League Twitter posted this story, a lot of angry Brayhead fans.
Yes.
A lot more than I was expecting, perhaps. Because usually when a coach is fired, loads of people are really happy that they go. Because they're not playing very well or they're not doing this. Most people most people have said that... okay, I'm going off like 3 or 4 comments from Brayhead fans, so most people's probably not the right word to say. From what I saw from people, they felt like the general manager is the one that should be going, and Tripp wasn't really given a chance to actually implement a system that could have worked. So, take from that what you will. If there are any Brayhead fans in the stream, let us know what you think about all of that. Before we cover the Nottingham thing. Oh, pardon me. Forgot how to swallow that for a minute. So the Predictor Bet playoff finals. Of course, Predictor Bet being
the BBC Sport thing.
Yes.
We really should have written this down because we keep forgetting stuff.
I've got all the latest news up here on my browser, mate. Predictor Bet is now the new sponsor of the Elite League. A betting company being the main sponsor. Take from that what you will. I don't necessarily think it's the best idea, but I mean, if it gets money and funding towards teams, then brilliant. So
all we need is a TV deal. Are you listening, Free Sports?
Yeah. However, they'll only be able to show one game at a time. We want like an NHL TV style one.
Yeah, that's true.
We need EIHL TV, a website where you can watch whichever stream. Which they have said that the quarterfinal games will be shown on EIHL TV or something like that. Like they mentioned
the semi-finals will. I don't think the quarters are.
Semi-finals, yeah, you're right. I think it's the semi-finals.
Because the quarters are still
Saturday
under...
semi-finals will be available to watch online on EIHL TV. Just make it so you pay a certain subscription for a season or a monthly subscription and you get access to every single game. They've already got the webcast set up in most of the places. Nottingham. You've already got like 10 out of the 12 teams have the webcasts. So to set it up that you pay a monthly fee, then you get to watch them. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about right now. So the grand final, which will be next Sunday at 4 p.m. No, not
Sunday the 8th.
Sunday the 8th. Sunday. So it's not this Sunday coming up. It's the Sunday after. Yeah, it was going to be shown on BBC Sport, either via connected smart TVs, or connected TVs or smart TVs, the BT Sport app, or on the BBC Sport website. So
what I did when Panthers played Cardiff, must have been, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Because
they showed it on BBC Sport, and I had it on my laptop full screen and HDMI'd it into the big TV in my student kitchen.
That is how students do things, ladies and gents. You got to think.
So that's how you do it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's really good. It's nice to see BBC Sport actually taking an interest for once. They'll probably get Claire Balding to do the commentary.
Yeah, but Tom Darnell's going to be on the ice with his camera, so it'll be all right.
So yeah, that's really good. I'm glad that they're on BBC Sport. EIHL TV. Now, I'm actually thinking about starting a petition to get the Nottingham Panthers a webcast. I've been thinking about it for a little while.
Well, if you want live coverage of ice hockey in Nottingham, just listen to the Nottingham Lions live radio commentary. It's so much better.
Oh, a little plug here, eh? Oh, there you go. So there's that. So next week, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after, you can watch it. Now, some people have said, Chris...
Yes.
They're potentially interested in us doing a playoff final stream.
I did see that.
We wouldn't be able to show it because I'd get my arse sued off. And
you can't show it because of the rights, and we can't really... You can't describe what's happening because that's like radio commentary and that's the rights.
We could sort of have a chat about what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And talk in between the periods if you want. Like, if you guys want that, let us know in the chat, and we'll see if we can get something sorted out.
Max Springer says, sorry, they're on about webcasts now, because you spoke about webcasts.
Good.
And he says that Neil Black is, because he won't let the Brayhead have one, he's convinced it will take away from attendances, but Storm... No, you see, this is what I don't understand, right?
It's a shit argument, and it doesn't work.
But it's the whole reason that I started doing the Lions one. It's not for the people who could go and choose not to. It's for the people that can't travel from Belfast on a Friday night. It's the people that don't want to do the 8-hour trip from Cardiff up to Dundee. It's for the people who can't. It's the abroad
It's for the
fans.
people that don't live close enough to one of the rinks, aka me. If you want me to watch more EIHL games, make it so I can watch them from my house.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. Okay. You might lose. 50 people who can't be bothered to go. But
I mean, if
the people you're going to gain.
If you really want to go about it, do you know what will help you lose more people at games? Being a shit hockey team, Brayhead. Like, win some games and you might get some better attendance. Right?
Yeah, but I know from first-hand experience, the majority of the people that tune in and listen to the live coverage are the away fans that can't make it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Like,
so,
like the first thing you go is, oh, I can't make that game. I still want to watch it though. Is there a webcast on? Like, I just don't like this whole like it will take away from attendance. So. We can go into this. We've got time. I don't mind. So, attendance and webcast and all that stuff. The Nottingham Panthers have said that, what's his name? Gary Moran?
Gary Moran, yeah.
Yeah. He said that, or I believe that he said that having a webcast will take away from fan attendance. Neil Black has supposedly said that it will take away from fan attendance. Can I just say that the Sheffield Steelers... they have a webcast. I've watched it many times, and I think it's quite good. I think I should get a shot on it, but you know, it's quite good. They're 54th in Europe for best attendance, and they've got a webcast. The Belfast Giants are 70th for attendance, and they've got a webcast.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a problem here. Max, because Elliot says that he reckons he should get you onto their training.
What training? What?
Lions, this is.
Yeah.
Get you on the ice for training.
If
and
you
then
want
Max
to see a
says
fat guy fall over on the ice a couple of times, yeah, sure.
And then Max said that he said for a punishment for the prediction bracket, the loser should be in goal for a training session for the Lions. And Elliot says he can get that sorted.
Oh God. That could be interesting. That could be interesting.
But anyway, yeah. So yeah, you need a webcast. That's how you get it into the 21st century.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've watched several webcasts this season. They're like a tenner a webcast. It's cheaper than a ticket to go and see the game.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But like, think of it this way: just the Elite League regular season itself, not including Challenge Cup games, because I mean, I don't really care about them until it gets to the final. For example, there's 28 home games for each team every season.
Yep.
A tenner for every single game.
280 quid.
Potentially 280 quid per person watching. If you have 1,000 people watch over the course of the season, that's an extra.
Sorry, 280 grand.
Yeah, 280 grand.
Well,
you can spend that on imports.
Yeah, even in the NIHL, I was having 50 people. Now, if they paid a tenner a game, that's 500 quid for 30 games. You're still looking at, $6 grand and no more than that. What am I on about? It's just ridiculous. But
so when anybody says, or if any of your GMs say that they think it will affect attendance.
Elliot, be a good vlog for you. Sorry,
yeah,
Elliot's
be a pretty awesome vlog. I'd do it. Yeah, why not?
Get a GoPro, strap it to your helmet or something.
Yes. Oh, yes, and we can have, like, Chris as the ref cam.
I need one of those big broadcast cameras that they film the Olympics with.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a good call. It's a good call. Did you see those cameramen? Like,
yeah,
they were really
so
close
skilled
to the action,
going in and out of everybody.
That made me cringe so hard. You should not get people that don't know anything about hockey to commentate hockey. Like, for God's sake. But yeah, so webcasts. Could somebody like screenshot the article that we said about like, oh, Sheffield are 53rd in attendance out of the 100 teams. Somebody just screenshot that, and every time that there's like a GM's meeting with the fans or whatever, and they go, oh, I think it will affect attendance if we have a webcast. Just show them that picture.
Well, GMs don't always meet with their fans. Sometimes they just sue them.
But it's very true.
It's just I mean, Elliot. I don't know if I've mentioned this to Elliot, but I actually did back when I was in uni trying to get a job. I think this was January of last year. I sent a business plan to the Panthers about doing not a webcast but live radio commentary, charging them £2 a game, and they'd make like £500,000 from it. It was ridiculous, and they said no.
It just doesn't make any sense, does it? Right, so moving on. Let's move on before.
Yeah, I think is that pretty much everything?
No.
Is it not?
We've got the Nottingham announcement.
Oh yes.
Chris, what is going on with you today?
I'm all out. Because I'm keeping half an eye on the chat because it's moving so quickly.
That's what I do every day, mate. Every day.
Chris Brown, then get banned from your own rink. Yeah, well they've banned the chairman of the Nottingham Ice Hockey Supporters Trust, and he has no idea why.
Now, I don't want to speculate, but I'm going to. I don't want to like make any false claims out there, but the Cat's Whiskers podcast, right? That's shutting down at the end of the season, right?
No, it's
no, it's
MP Hockey Live, the guys that did the Twitter.
That's it. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, Cat's Whiskers. I listened to your latest podcast recently, and it was really good. And I quite enjoyed it. You should have me on there sometime. Anyway,
there you go, Jono. Are you listening? I don't think you're in.
No, he wasn't on that one. Oh, that was a shame.
Was he not,
Jono? So was it like live match updates? What's the exact name of the Twitter they're ending this season?
MP Hockey Live.
MP Hockey Live. That's it. Did the Nottingham Panthers have anything to do with that?
No, the MP Hockey Live when they started it, like the live Twitter coverage was appalling. But now Callum David's doing a really good job. They kind of want to stop it and actually enjoy the games.
Right, fair play.
Rather than looking at their phone all the time.
Well, that's a fair play, I guess. I just wasn't sure if that was another example of them.
Max, the Storm copied my uni team's jersey earlier this season. Had a nice fallout with some of Storm's management. Max, which uni? Just out of curiosity.
I assume Manchester Uni.
Potentially, but we'll.
So
yeah, this Nottingham announcement that we were debating whether to delay, weren't we, doing this until after the announcement, and then we decided no because it was probably going to be nothing.
No. So there's a video that's been going around. There's a video that's been put up on the Nottingham Panthers Twitter, which says it's got a picture of Corey Nilsson holding the Elite League trophy above his head, which he's held several trophies since he's been in Nottingham. Suck it, league. And there's like it says like the next era begins or something. Like it's like the new era begins. Then it says March 27th. Now, Chris and I talked about this when it came out. It came out like last week or something, because March 27th is tomorrow. So we were like, oh, what's this all about? And our immediate thought was they're going to announce a new head coach for next season. Yeah. We think it's Pete Russell, by the way. Yeah. I don't think we're under any illusion that it's going to be anybody else. However,
it was very much a coincidence that. Well, you say that because we said that because it was a coincidence that. Oh yeah, because he's leaving the Lightning at the end of the season, and it happened
he coached his last game for them yesterday.
Yeah, and the fact it was like 2 days afterwards put a lot of suspicion up. But now that they're saying that they're still doing the interviews between like this week and next week, the speculation's kind of gone because it's clearly not that. And everyone's saying, well, if you look at the first shot in that video, it's a big flag with Panthers and GMB on it. So they reckon they're having a new sponsor, main sponsor.
If it's a new sponsor, I want to give a message to the Nottingham Panthers. Don't make a hype video if you have a new sponsor. I don't care. The rest of the Nottingham Panthers fans don't care. If you're going to say, David Clark's our new head coach, that's something to hype about. If you're going to say, we're going to win 1 million different trophies over the next 3 years, that's something to be hyped about. Saying, oh, we're being sponsored by this company that does data research, I don't care. Like, it's great that they're sponsoring the Panthers and giving them money. Great. But I don't care. Most of the Elite League fans wouldn't care. Most Nottingham fans wouldn't care. They don't give a shit which sponsor they have. Like, who sits there and goes, oh, I can't wait to see the GMB Nottingham Panthers? No, they say, I can't wait to see the Nottingham Panthers. Because that's who they're going to watch.
It's only the announcer that says that, and that's because that's part of the sponsorship deal.
Which is fine. I get it. But, like, I don't mind them being sponsored. It's just when they go, this is a big announcement, guys. We're not going to give you any sort of detail as to what it is except a new era begins, which is one of the most, like, bland statements you could make, considering 5 million different things have happened to the Nottingham Panthers this season to warrant a new era needing to begin. So to go like, oh, it's a new sponsor. Get out. Whoever made that video, just stop.
Well, I suspect it was Callum.
Sorry, Callum, but you got to stop. Like, I completely understand. I mean, we might be absolutely wrong. I might be absolutely wrong, and it's nothing to do with a sponsor. It might be something remotely interesting. In which case, brilliant. Great. Thanks for making the video. Thanks for hyping us up. I appreciate it. But if it's something so shit and so irrelevant and so boring and so pointless that hockey fans don't actually care, then I wish that video to be deleted from all social media.
Well, the fact that it's the end of an era, it's got to be something that's been there for a long time. So it's either something like a new sponsor or backroom staff such as Gary Moran, and I'm leaning more towards the sponsor based on the video.
Yeah, and the fact that there hasn't been any talk about Gary Moran leaving this season.
That too, yeah.
He could have announced it at the same time as Corey Nielsen announcing him leaving. You know?
Yeah, which I think if he was going to, he would have done.
Yeah.
So, and Chris Brown says it's the same as Clan's New Day promo, which is just a big hype over nothing.
Oh, right.
So
yeah. I don't think that. Well, I mean, what else could it be? So it's not a new coach because they're waiting for several of the European leagues and several of the other leagues around the world to finish because they have some candidates. Apparently they've had loads and loads of applications for the job, which is great. That's brilliant. I mean, they might be overestimating those values to us to be like, oh, there's going to be loads of people that are up for it. There might be 2. We don't know. But they're very much saying there are several people that have said, I want to apply for this. However, my season's still going on, so can we do it after the season's ended and I'll come and have a proper interview and da-da-da-da. There's that. So that's kind of like... So it's not going to be about a new head coach because they haven't actually decided one yet. So what else could it be? It's either a new sponsor, Gary Moran's leaving, which we don't think is going to happen anyway. What else could it be? The end of an era. It's got to be it could be something related to Corey Nielsen or David Clark. But why would the announcement be now, just before the playoffs?
But that's already been announced, so it wouldn't do that again.
But is it like one of them's? Is it like David Clark's going to be the get some sort of front office job that's like advisor to the hockey operations, or like is it a case of that? I don't know. Like that's purely speculation and probably nothing at all. However, it's like, what else could it be?
I think it's the sponsor.
I have a feeling it could be something so out of left field that like nobody expects.
Yeah, maybe. We'll just have to wait for tomorrow, really.
It could be a webcast, for example. Like, if we're going to throw like curveballs in here, it could be that they're going, oh, you know what? We're actually going to come up with we're going to get with the 21st century now, and we're actually going to use technology. Here, be able to watch your games wherever you want. To which the rest of the Elite League goes, yeah, you're like 4 years too late. But anyway, if you look at the Panthers' Instagram, David Clark has always been shown in a suit recently. That's true. However, when David Clark announced his retirement at the end of this season, he said that he was wanting to pursue career options away from hockey. So maybe that was to fan the Flames, but I don't think David Clark is going to be involved in any front office behind the bench job this season. I think he might do in a few years, maybe, if he wants it. I think if David Clark wants that sort of job, he can have it. Like, I think he's got that respect from the British Hockey League sort of circle to be like, I would like to be the head coach of the Nottingham Panthers. They would probably go, okay, well, once this coach's contract runs out, it's yours. Like, I would fully expect that to happen. However, I don't think that's anything to do with this. I just don't know what it could be, though. Like, the three options I'm thinking, either new sponsor, well, four options, I think. New sponsor, webcast, Gary Moran's leaving, or David Clark getting a job somewhere, which I don't think is going to be the case. Is it? I just had a thought. Could it be something related to the arena, perhaps?
No, because the arenas... No.
But could it be like, oh, we're building a new arena, which they won't. They've signed Clark's kid. Get him on their way. He's probably better than most of the Panthers players this season anyway, so...
Elliot, have you got insider info there, or are you just speculating?
Yeah, guys, bring up your speculations. We're probably all wrong, and that's fine, but at least we can enjoy the speculations.
Yeah. No, I think it's a sponsor.
Maybe. But then again, why would they announce that now? Like, is there any sort of signings for next season or anything like that, they'll announce after the playoffs, surely.
Yeah.
Cause
no, I think it's the sponsor.
Right. I'm gonna say, I think it's that they're giving me a job. They're gonna make me head of hospitality and webcasts.
Right, okay.
By the way, Nottingham, if you are doing webcasts, I want that gig. I'll need a job.
Hang on, what about me?
Yeah, I'll get you in sometimes, it's fine.
Oh dear.
So, yeah, is there any other topics that anybody wants us to talk about?
I think we've been pretty thorough, haven't we?
I'm happy to keep talking. Like, we've only been going for 90 minutes. Like, this is like easy days in my streams. Did a 3-hour stream like less than a week ago. Come on, folks.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I was a pirate. It was great. I may as well, while we're waiting, if you have enjoyed this stream and you would like more podcasts with myself and Gadders, then I think it's a great nickname.
It was actually my nickname. You're not being very original.
Well, I don't care. It's a good nickname. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you have enjoyed and you haven't done so already, please do feel free to hit that subscribe button. Also, yeah, if you have enjoyed this podcast idea, then let us know. Like, we're very much like, we wouldn't mind doing more stuff like this, but only if people are actually interested in listening to it. Because the last time we did this, we didn't have that good of a viewership compared to today. Like, today we've had a much better viewership.
Oh yeah, it's been really good
So
today.
like,
Elliot says keep them coming, top job. Well, what have we got? Max, thoughts on Jay Rosehill behaving himself lately?
I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, I know.
Here's another topic, potentially. Can the 2018 off season be the year we purge all the goons from the Elite Ice Hockey League, please?
No. Right.
Why not? Why not?
Because the teams want them, because they're A, an entertainment factor, and B, an intimidation factor.
No,
Elliot will say...
You see. There's a difference between a good player that fights and a goon. There's a difference between a Matthew Gagnon and a Matt Nickerson.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry, I misheard you. Yeah, no,
I wish to purge all the goons from the Elite Ice Hockey League.
You've got no problem with someone like Cam Jansen?
I mean, I will say that I didn't really watch. I wasn't really into the Elite Ice Hockey League when Cam Jansen was around, so I might not be the best person to ask about that. However, I think players that fight are fine. That's fine. Players that can play hockey and fight, brilliant. Have as many as you want. Like, have as many players that can do that as you want. The only thing I'd say is, the players that are goons, purge them. Get rid of them. We don't need them in this league. I've said it many times in many different videos.
We have an advantage here. We have an actual ice hockey player in the chat, and Elliot says that your top guys can't do the job unless they're there because it makes a difference, so keep the goons.
Wrong, and this is why. As I said, a goon is somebody that their main focus is to drop the gloves. Their main focus is, I need to spark this team by dropping the gloves, trying to punch another person, and then potentially punching me. Which is fine, if you were in the 1980s. Like, do you notice... Like, I'm all for fighting in hockey. Like, it's not the nicest part about hockey, but I think a decent fight every now and then is good. Just like most people. I'm not some bloodthirsty gladiator watcher who thinks that we need to have a fight every game. I think people that enjoy that are absolutely crazy and need to evaluate their purposes in life. Like, there's nothing wrong with a fight in hockey. I like a good fight in hockey. I don't expect every single player to fight and have bench-clearing brawls every game. Because this isn't the 70s, this isn't the 80s. The game has moved on, the game has changed. Like, do you notice in the NHL that fighting's been down for the last 4 years? Or like for the last however long? Because most of those fighters couldn't actually play hockey. Most of those fighters were like, this is my only job on the team, to drop the gloves and punch somebody. Nowadays you can't have that. And I think if the Elite League wants to be taken seriously as a hockey league, then it needs to get rid of that as much as possible. You can have fights in games. I'll still come and watch it. But I don't want bench-clearing brawls. I don't want show fights. Show fights are ridiculous. I don't want a show fight. I don't want people fighting just for the sake of it. I want, for example, like Elliot said, like, the top guys can't do their jobs unless they're there. If there is something that happens on the ice and somebody feels like they need to step up and drop the gloves and get it done, that's fine, because that's standing up for teammates. That's not being a goon, that's being a good teammate. There's a difference, I think, in my eyes. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a place for them, definitely. But, I mean, it is nice. I do enjoy watching a fight. I enjoy commentating on fights because they're very interesting to commentate on. I mean, there's a place for them in this, you know, it's about that momentum thing and sparking your team and all of that. But if you're going to just go on and, you know, just cause a fight for the sake of it, the problem is there's some players where they come on the ice and the referees assume that they're only there for a fight. And that's not the case. You know, if you're putting big guys out on 5-on-3 power plays, they're not there to cause trouble. They're there to give options and screen in front of the net.
Yeah, well, no, definitely. Elliot's just mentioned maybe enforcers, not goons. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. I completely agree. Like,
yeah.
Somebody that's willing to drop the gloves, but can either be a solid stay-at-home defenseman or put up points. Like, if they can do one of those other things as well, or be a solid two-way forward. Like, if they can do one of those other things as well as fight, they have a place in the league.
Yeah.
But if they can only do fighting, there's no place for them. And I mean, potentially controversial opinion. Maybe I'm calling out one player more than others, but I think it's fair. Jay Rosehill is one of those players. How many times has he been suspended this season?
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yeah, like, it is a yeah, it's an interesting one, really.
So if I ever become the head of the league, which in an ideal world would be tomorrow,
you could replace Simzu.
I would purge all the goons. I'm happy to say that there aren't as many as there have been. Which I'm glad about, because teams and franchises are realising the same thing I'm saying. They need players that can actually contribute on the score sheet, or are good in the advanced stat or the SAT categories or the SPT categories or whatever. Can we purge David Sims instead?
Yeah. And of course, if you guys are enjoying this, we've got more of Odd Man Rush tonight because we've got a franchise mode going up, haven't you?
Oh yeah. We've got the next episode of the Quebec franchise mode.
Yeah, that needs to go up.
And it's the trade deadline. Oh, I put up between 9:30 and 10. It's not a problem. Yeah, if you want to talk about that a little bit, it's the trade deadline in our first season. I love franchise mode, and I've thoroughly enjoyed doing the Quebec series. I will put a disclaimer out. I record those videos in batches, so I already know what happens. I hope that doesn't ruin any of the magic for you. I'm not going to tell you, obviously, because then you wouldn't want to watch the bloody thing. I will say, though, that I earlier this week recorded the first off-season, or the off-season after the season we've just had. And it was almost an hour long, and I didn't expect it to be almost an hour long. So you got a long video coming in a couple of weeks, folks. But yeah, we've got the trade deadline / end of the season episode today. This was just kind of a bonus thing. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, then it's great. We'll do more stuff if you guys want to see it. Maybe we could do one next week on the results of the quarterfinals. If people want to see that, if Chris is around.
Not next Monday, but yeah, we'll come up with something.
We'll figure it out. We always do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, is there anything else chat wants us to talk about? We're kind of rounding up here.
We're rounding up. I mean, like you say, we'll do one next week after the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of wanting to finish at 9 o'clock, so it's a solid 2 hours. You know, like on the dot would be good. So if there's anything else you want us to talk about,
it depends if people want us to carry on chatting or if they just want to see franchise mode.
Well, franchise mode I usually set them to upload at about 9 o'clock to 15:15, and they get uploaded by 10:30 o'clock.
Oh yes, Andy, you've said this a few times, and we forget to cover it. Eli Tolvanen
it's
part ways
with
the
the
KHL.
EIHL.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That's
Okay, okay. So
hang on. We've got Max as well. Isn't there room for further expansion?
Just a short thing on Andy's thing. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's a stud. He's played in the KHL this year, and he scored a hat-trick in his first game. He's an absolute stud. Anyway, moving on. Think there's room for further expansion in the EIHL? Well, my question would be, which teams would it be?
Yeah, I mean all the high up teams in the National Ice Hockey League have got. They're in the same. Like Sheffield won the league, and obviously there's the Steelers. So it's difficult with that sort of thing. I mean, if you're going to go on that, you'd look at teams like Swindon or something with the Wildcats, or Peterborough with the Phantoms and that sort of thing.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is the Sheffield Steel Dogs seem to do quite well in terms of attendance and in terms of sort of the interest. However, you wouldn't want 2 Sheffield teams in the Elite League. No,
well, you wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah, Max is right there. Hull, Basingstoke, or Swindon, one of those.
Well, Hull have obviously had a EIHL team before, haven't they? Didn't go.
I think we need a few years.
So has Basingstoke, actually.
Yeah, I think we need a few years of making sure that Guildford and MK are sustainable before we add more in.
Which, judging by how well Guildford's done this season, yeah.
Yeah, just make sure it's sustainable and not a 1-year thing.
Because one of the big sort of criticisms of the Elite Ice Hockey League is it's very expensive for teams to remain in the league. That's why we've seen so many teams disappear.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Okay. I think that's kind of it. We haven't really got more.
Yeah. Okay. So, thank you for joining myself and Gadders on the EIHL Pre-Playoff Podcast. If you want more, let me know on my Twitter @OddmanRushYT. Follow me on Twitter because you should have done already. I'm great on Twitter. I need you guys to tell me if you want more, because if you guys I really enjoyed that, it was really good, and then you don't tell us, we won't know.
Yeah.
So if you tweet me later tonight Odd Man Rush, that was really good, make more, and we have 10 of those tweets, then Chris and I will sit there and go, we might be onto something here.
Yeah, tweet us, follow us, let us know.
Yeah, so we'll somebody mentioned to do a reaction to the Panthers news tomorrow. I might sort that out. I'll see what I can do. I don't actually have... Oh, wait. I need to record a pack opening tomorrow. I can put that out on Wednesday, though. It's fine. I'm still waiting for my Upper Deck hockey cards. I ordered them 3 weeks ago now, and they're not here. What's happening? Check out my cards. I want to do some videos on them, because they're beaut. Anyway. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Also, if one of you wants to be awesome and become the second sponsor to the channel, that would be great.
You get custom emojis.
Because, yeah, we need one more sponsor and we'll get custom emoji. Is it cost like £5 a month or something?
Yeah, $4.99.
Basically, it's just a way for you guys to go, he makes loads of free videos. He's made over 700 free videos that you can watch online for free. I just want to help support him a little bit in terms of money and help buy more equipment for the stream and hockey cards. And
yeah, we'll round off while you're doing. One last stat from Max.
Okay.
Total number of Elite League fights last year: 138.
Really? But now I want to know that comparison to the season before.
Oh, I'm sure Max can tweet you it.
Yeah, tweet me it. Everybody who has Twitter, or everybody that doesn't have Twitter, first of all, make Twitter, just so you can follow me. Just so you can follow me. Like, it'll be worth it, I promise, because my tweets are top-notch. And you get to know when anything goes out, because YouTube has had a real big problem recently of actually telling subscribers when videos are being uploaded. Like, my viewer numbers have taken an absolutely massive hit. How do you become a sponsor? There should be a green button at the top of your screen, right?
There should be. I mean, I've just got live chat, but there should be like YouTube Gaming and then a sponsor button. But maybe they've realised this isn't a gaming one. I don't know.
Well, yeah, this is a sports one, so it might not be there. The situation might be you might have to do it next time I stream NHL or something.
I think it
guys, get Twitter
like
just for me. It'll be great, and you can tweet me saying how much you enjoyed this, and you can follow Chris, and then you can know whenever the Nottingham Lions are playing. You can listen to the radio casts.
September now.
2 birds with 1 stone. Beautiful. So yeah, let me know, or Chris on Twitter. What's your Twitter again?
Yep. Chris_Gadsby.
There you go. So there isn't one. Okay, so there isn't.
Oh yeah, and then follow Elliot for more Lions news.
Why not? You should, because I said so, and because he said so. I just don't really want to end it yet. I'm just kind of babbling about shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh come on, everyone's rounded up.
Fight me, all right? So yeah, subscribe, sponsor, super chat, whatever you want. We'll talk about doing one after the quarterfinals.
Thanks for the follow, Matt.
Oh yeah, thanks. Max. We'll make sure we'll have a chat about that later, won't we, Chris? About, doing a quarterfinal one, and then we'll talk about potentially doing a playoff final one.
Yeah.
So we might get a few more for the playoffs, and then after that, we might be able to do like a off-season one. Oh no, we won't be able to because I won't be here.
Oh yeah, you're going to Canada, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to Canada for like 2 months. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed.
Yep.
Last word from Chris.
Yeah, glad you guys enjoyed, and we'll be back soon.
That was a boring last word. So
follow the Lions radio commentary.
There you go. So thanks for watching, but for now, goodbye. Max Smith.